can be in the middle of a conversation with someone and hear clearly what it is as the words that they're saying, but miss completely the intent of those words' meaning. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 1, the Torah portion of V'yigash. Let's go to Bereshit, to Genesis, chapter number 44, and read verse number 18. And Yehudah came near to him, that is to Joseph, and said, O my master, please let your servant speak a word in my master's hearing, and do not let your displeasure burn against your servant. For you are like Pharaoh. Now, what did he mean by that? We have been reading and trying to understand this powerful play of maneuvers that Joseph has been conducting against his brothers, with his brothers, against his brothers. He is trying to determine, as best as we can read and understand, whether they will treat his full brother Benjamin as they treated him. Is the sibling rivalry between the sons of Leah and the sons of Rachel still going on? Have these brothers changed since the day that they seized Joseph, took off his significant robe, put him in a pit, and then he found himself pulled up out of the pit by the Midianites and sold to Ishmaelites and ended up in Mitzrayim long ago? What's going on here? As Yehudah approaches Joseph, who has just made the declaration, my special goblet, my chalice that I use, has been found in your brother Benjamin's sack, and I've just fed you sumptuously. I've just taken care of you. You have your grain. You have the silver back in your sacks, and you stoop so low as to steal my goblet? Really? And it's found in Benjamin's sack, which means that he is going to seize this young man as his slave forever. Yehudah has promised his father with his own credibility, his own life, to bring Benjamin back. So imagine Benjamin as a man with both arms stretched out, Joseph pulling on one side, Yehudah is pulling on the other, and a great tug-of-war back and forth, and Benjamin is in the middle. Now, if we want to extend this quite a bit, not going down this road in depth today, but just an idea, between the territorial landmass, the allotted area given to Ephraim, which we understand is significant in the house of Joseph, and that which has been given to Yehudah, in the middle of those two is what might be called a land bridge, Benjamin. It is also the area where the Temple Mount is secured. This is the place that Yah's focus is upon. Yehudah, the tribe of Yehudah, significantly understood to be the Jews, the Jewish culture, the Jewish understanding of who Yah is and how he relates to his people. The prominence of the Torah, the house of Ephraim, no longer in the land, but very much active in the earth, comprised mostly of those who have come out of Christianity or by some form thereof. And it is the identity of Mashiach that they hold, and we believe that Yah relates to us through him. We have a great affection for the Temple Mount area. And so Benjamin in between is caught in the middle of this warfare, as it has been over the centuries, between the Jewish culture and the Ephraimite culture that has been found greatly infiltrated, we'll use that word, infiltrated or affected by Western culture. Who is right, those who hold to the Torah or those who hold to the Mashiach? And the answer is yes, both. Yeshua, the Torah is Yeshua. They are one and the same. Yeshua, Yochanan, John chapter 1 says that he is the living embodiment. He is the living human version of the Torah, the word of Elohim. So there is this pulling back and forth as to who has right claim to Benjamin. Now, if we bring it back down to just the relational situation as it is being played out between these two brothers. When Yehuda walks up toward the throne of Joseph and says, "You're like Pharaoh," is he acknowledging the authority and the power of Joseph? Or is it, as perhaps Rashi, the ancient Torah commentator, suggests, "You're like Pharaoh in just as a Pharaoh seized my grandmother and tried to hold her captive, and Yah struck his house until he released Sarah. You're no different. You tried to hold my brother, and Yah will cause you great harm until you let him go." So it's possible that what Yehuda was saying, a lot of things can happen here today, but the one thing that will not happen is that you're going to hold this young man. One way or the other, Benjamin's going home to his father, even if I have to stay here and take his place. That's going to happen, but you're not keeping him. Joseph may be thinking, I have to understand what your response is going to be if I threaten to take him and hold him. Are you going to say, good riddance, we're going home, you can have him? Or are you going to defend him and stand up to me in his behalf? Again, people can be talking to us and we not understand what they're saying. You get yourself into a situation where you are at a crux with someone else. There is a differing of opinions. There is a different way of seeing things, and you're butting heads. Who's right? Is Yehuda right here, or is Joseph right here? What would Yeshua say? What is Yeshua's focus here? Yeshua would throw into the mix, no, wait a minute, there's a father back home. And he has fought Esav, he has fought Lavan, he has fought the Shechemites, he has looked for some peace on earth, and he's had anything but. Joseph, he believes, is dead and has been gone for a couple decades now. And Benjamin, he's worried he will never see him again. Yeshua would speak to us out of Acts chapter 3, where we read the phrase, the times of restoration. The restoration of all things. Yah's agenda is about offending parties, vying parties, to find a commonality, a place in the middle, and learn to stand together. Now, I will agree that there are some folks that are just not possible to do that. Rav Shaul says, as much as is in you, be at peace with all men. There are some folks that will not allow you to be at peace with them, whether they are of a narcissistic style of character or they're violent, etc. They have issues that must be healed and they be delivered from before they can have right relationship with you or anyone else. But if it is possible, Yah will bring about the possibility. The key is to begin to speak in language that each other can hear and understand. One easy tactic is to simply look at someone and say, what I heard you say is that correct? Did I hear you right? This thing of distortion between voices and hearing, it's more spiritual than we might realize. It is the spirit that is working against the time of restoration of all things. Let's not yield to that spirit today. Let's listen carefully, discern correctly, and walk in brotherly companionship. We'll see you again tomorrow. To then, shalom.